What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into Dark Crisis Young Justice issue number 5, with only one more issue left after this one. What we have seen so far is the son of Mr. Mxyzptlk. This is Mickey Mxyzptlk. What we have learned is that he has been controlling our heroes. He has brought them into this world of his creation. He has created the perfect world, their golden years, exactly how he remembers his heroes. But even so, Tim Drake, Connor, and Bart, they have all been fighting back against this world, finally figuring out who is responsible and why all this is happening. They are trying to find their way out of this fifth dimension and back to their reality. Now, make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we have our three heroes who are talking to Mickey. He lets them know that he created the perfect world for his favorite heroes. He completed it with their best girl by their side, that being the Cassie that he has in this world. He thought about bringing the real Cassie along, but she has gotten older, as he puts it. He says that this one is far more fun, far more controllable, with Bart being the one to go in first. From the ground, we have some kind of undead or demon hands that grab hold of his legs. They grab hold of Tim Drake, saying that Bart Allen, he doesn't lead the charge. It is okay for him to just be comic relief. It is okay to be the way you are, the way you were when you were younger. Don't you miss it? Because he sure does. These were his heroes. Back in those days, these are the guys that got the glory. They were the ones that got the girl. And then all of this was taken away from them. The people that brought them up, who trained them, who promised them the world, they failed them. They left them alone and left them to rot. Instead, they got new proteges, like Wallace West, Damian Wayne, and Connor Kent. Now, Bart is trying to figure out, like, is this some kind of weird daddy issue thing where you just didn't get enough love as a kid? But he says that it's more than that. It's about an entire generation getting stuck in limbo, like they are disposable. The truth is, Mickey was supposed to be the one to take over control of the fifth dimension once this generation of heroes took their rightful mantles. But instead, that never happened. In fact, he believes that they were all brought down. He brought them here to give them gifts so that they could take out the people that did the most damage in their lives. As these hands look like they are about to kill Tim Drake, with Connor pleading with Mickey to let them go or you are going to be down a couple of favorite heroes. Releasing them from the grasp, Mickey simply lets them know that he is trying to help them when no one else would, because the truth is they have been replaced. This is where we see a little bit of everybody new, and if I'm gonna be honest, what they're doing is holding up a mirror to some fans, holding up a mirror and saying, hey look, you are Mickey, because he goes on talking about how these three have been replaced with people that don't have any right to be here. He doesn't care about any of those characters going on adventures and giving us stories that nobody even asked for. Why can't it go back to when we were younger? These three were the heroes that really meant the most to him in his childhood, and he never gets to see them anymore. They're either killed, removed from the timeline, or just forgotten about while these guys take over. And at this point, Mickey is sick of it. He is sick of seeing characters he doesn't want to see. He is sick of the changes to characters. He is sick of them growing up. He wants them to be the characters from back in the day. He wants these characters exactly as he remembers them, without any true growth. With our heroes letting him know that those heroes, they are just as important as us. While these three may have had a rough go of it, so have all the other heroes. They aren't better or worse. Just because these guys have been around longer doesn't make them any better than any of the other heroes. And Mickey doesn't get to tell people that they don't belong or that they shouldn't exist. That these heroes, they make the world better. Mickey being infuriated, saying you should never meet your heroes, he snaps his fingers. And that is where blobs of fire start coming out of everywhere. Not really sure what to do or where to go. These are Mickey's heroes. They showed him who he needed to be, and he is right. He believes himself to be right, and he refuses to accept that he could ever be wrong. Not really sure how they're gonna get out of here. We see a bat bomb being thrown. There's an explosion. There is a crash. And then we see the Cassie from this dimension version with some kind of arrow stuck to her forehead. This is where we have the arrival of Cassie, Arrowette, and Red Tornado. This is all because of Bart Allen. Using the sound waves, he sent out a signal, hoping that it might reach Cassie, knowing what her frequency was. There was a giant red light in space, one that was in the shape of a lightning bolt. Believing who else could this possibly be? It took one explosion and they were here, with Cassie still trying to figure out where the heck they are and what is going on. Seeing another version of herself, Cassie making fun of the three, thinking like, you guys thought that that was me. How could you possibly think that that is me? As they all apologize, she says that it is fine, that they're gonna talk about it later. Right now, she is just happy to have all three of the boys back. As Arrowette asks who the kid is in the bad hat, Tim Drake asks him what his name is, but he says he's not dumb. He's not gonna be easily tricked. Back in the day, that may have tricked his father, because if he says his name, that sends him back. And Mickey lets them know that they are not getting out of here alive. But with our young Justice reunited back together, they begin to fight him off, with Bart Allen going into the Speed Force. These little blobs are eating up the Speed Force. They look like they might be outmatched. None of them are strong enough on their own to fight against this. Robin being trapped again, Bart Allen inside the Speed Force. With Connor using his telekinetic energy, he is able to free Robin. Cassie finding Bart Allen, letting him know that he's gotta get out of the Speed Force. If he had just a little more power, then he may be able to open up a doorway that they could all go through the Speed Force to possibly end up back in their dimension. This is where they enlist the help of Red Tornado and Superboy. They give Impulse that little bit of a boost that he needs. The rest of them, they all protect against Mickey. Working together, they open up the doorway, all of them jumping through, and they land back where they belong, back at Happy Harbor Cave, one place that they used to come all the time. Now it is looking like an absolute wreck, but Cassie lets everybody know that they gotta get back to the Hall of Justice. When they left, everybody was getting ready for something big, but before they are able to do so, they hear a voice that comes from behind them, because Mickey was also transported here, letting them know that he can't get rid of them that easily. The final confrontation is about to begin, and that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You know, I know there's gonna be a lot of fans that are not happy about this. Happy about the things I said, happy about the way that this was written, and they're just gonna have to get over it. If I'm gonna be completely honest, like, it's time to get over the fact that Tim Drake is bisexual. It's time to get over all of these things. These characters are growing up. They're becoming something more. They're becoming something better. They're developing some real personality and character traits. They're becoming the people that they are eventually going to be as they're older. You know, and like I said, this comic is really holding up a mirror to those people. Now, don't get me wrong. Throughout these last 5 issues, the writing has been subpar at best. I'm not going to champion this comic as if it is just the best thing to come out of Dark Crisis, but this issue specifically was good. I like it because it does hold up that mirror, and it shows that this is you. You guys are being Mickey when you sit here and you just get irate. You get so angry and upset about these characters and how they are changing, even in the smallest of ways. Like Tim Drake being bisexual, it really is not that big of a deal. And it's showing you, like, how can you be upset about something that's just a fictional character? Like, you're so upset, you connected with this character so much that when it goes something that you don't like, you absolutely lose your minds. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a very small percentage of fans. There's a lot of fans that, you know, they just don't like the change, and that's okay. Don't like the change. There's some changes that they've made to characters that I'm not a fan of, but I just move along with my day. I see it, I'm like, that's not the greatest thing I've ever seen, but you know what? Maybe they can make a good story out of it. Maybe this change will do something to the character that I didn't expect. But there is that small percentage of fans that just absolutely lose their minds. Be it Superboy or Tim Drake or whatever other character you can think of. People just absolutely losing their minds. Even saying that DC Comics is promoting pedophilia because Jonathan Kent was aged up. Like, just some ridiculousness. I know sometimes it is hard for people to accept change, but that is exact what this comic is saying, is that change happens. You may not like it. You may not be the biggest fan of it. You may have loved the age when these kids were younger. Everybody loves the Super Son. runs. But change is inevitable. It happens. We have to learn to accept it. And just because there is change doesn't mean that we can't get good stories. It doesn't mean that something can't be changed later on in the future to make it more oriented to what you like. For example, Wally West. Wally West was almost universally hated as we were getting through his whole Dr. Manhattan phase. After Heroes in Crisis, people absolutely hated that stuff. I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. I did like Heroes in Crisis because it focused on the trauma of PTSD and even people like Superman having to deal with this trauma. That's my biggest takeaway from those stories. But I understand why people didn't like it and the disrespect that Wally West got for quite some time. But now we are seeing that Wally West, he's getting back to who he is. Having Linda, his children, having a working job, doing the nuclear family thing. He is 100% a family man. That is just one example of a character that went from being universally hated to being loved. So just because there are changes, it doesn't mean that it's a bad story. It doesn't mean it's ruining the character. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you would like to get completely caught up on everything going on with Dark Crisis, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It is gonna get you completely caught up on everything going on with this series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having 5 different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to getting free comics every single month. Not only does this help out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you are unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.